Happy Friday. Happy September. August is in the books, baby. Brand new month. Just 4 months left. 4 months left in the year. It is September 1st, 2023. I'm Dan Kuntz, and this is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Jam-packed program for you. As you well know by now, Fridays is the one day of the week where we promise you a 5-star show. That's a guarantee, 5 stars or double your television viewing pleasure back. That's pretty cool, isn't it? It is fairly cloudy, 61 degrees. The clouds that we have right now will be leaving as the day progresses. We'll have some sunshine this afternoon. Quite a pleasant weekend coming up. Things are going to change a little bit on Sunday night and Labor Day Monday. Significant cool down, maybe a raindrop or two, but that's down the road. The next 3 days are looking mighty fine weather-wise for Labor Day weekend. That's a programming reminder. We won't be here on Labor Day. We get a 3-day weekend, which for us is a pretty rare treat. And we have high school football tonight. Don't forget about that. We have the Wenatchee Panthers hosting the Skyline Spartans. 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock kickoff right here on the NCIP Live channel. Grant Olson and Brandon Harley with the call. All right, let's not waste any more time. Let's get a little sneak peek at your weather forecast from the National Weather Service. It's going to be a little breezy today. That's about the only thing that's going to really be kind of interesting weather-wise. Take a look at where you live. This is your peak wind gusts, not sustained winds, your peak wind gusts for today. There's just a weak upper low that's drifting into our area. That's why we're going to have a little bit of wind coming down from Canada. It's going to blow almost exclusively north to south. So a couple of areas that are susceptible to the winds, specifically the Waterville Plateau, the Columbia Basin, and up the Okanagan area. You're going to be a little breezy up there today. Not so much here in the Wenatchee Valley, but a good section of our viewing area. You're going to have a little wind today. Just a little heads up, but it ain't going to be much. Might be just about perfect day to go fly a kite, which reminds me most of my coworkers are constantly telling me to go fly a kite. I like them anyway. With that out of the way, let's do our cameras around the valley. The Wenatchee Valley, of course, from our cross camera, heights camera. I call it the heights camera. I don't know why. I just do. As the sun continues to climb up. Sunrise this morning was at 6:20. Sunset this afternoon, or tonight, I should say, 7:41. That's 13 hours and 21 minutes of daylight. We continue to lose about 2.5 minutes a day as we work our way till September 22nd, the autumnal equinox, which is now going to be this month. Man, August just flew right by. The hose landing camera, we haven't used this one in a while. Why it's black and white, I don't know. There should be plenty of ambient light to have that thing switch automatically to color. That's how it works. If it's too dark, it switches to black and white so we can get in as much information, as much light into the camera as possible. When it gets bright enough, it changes to color. Well, it hasn't yet, but trust me, that is color. It's just not, it's not what you're seeing. It's not like that area is actually in black and white. Good morning to our friends near Aniat in Lake Aniat. Way off into the distance is the Wenatchee Valley. Looks fairly cloudy, but again, clouds will be leaving. Let's head on up to Lake Chelan, which will be a hopping place because it's Lake Chelan and it's still summertime. I believe that's from the lower butte, so that is Chelan proper to your right. And across the river and a little bit to your left is the Union Valley area. And by golly, we have a camera there as well. So we're basically going to turn around 180 degrees and look back towards the Lake Chelan area from the North Shore, our Union Valley camera. Good morning to Lake Chelan. Busy, this is the last weekend of get real busy because everybody has to go back to work and back to school and vacations are over. So things will quiet down a little bit in the Lake Chelan area once we get through this Labor Day weekend. One more thing I have not mentioned yet, our interview segment. In the back half of the program, we got a couple of them. As you probably know by now, the folks at Rivercom have made it technically available for you to text 911 in the event that you can text and can't call. They still want you to call if you can, but if that is not an option, you're now able to text Rivercom using 911. Doug Jones, the executive director, will be joining us, and Scott Devereaux, the head football coach of the Wenatchee Panthers for the last 20 years, joined Eric to preview the upcoming prep football season for the Wenatchee Panthers. I didn't mention that at the top of the show. That's my bad. From the National Weather Service, here we go. Cloudy this morning, sunshine this afternoon, little wind. We'll get up to about 84 degrees. Again, little light wind to the north of us in the Waterville Plateau. You're going to have more wind than us here in little old Wenatchee town. Going to be a beautiful night at the Leibofta Field at the Apple Bowl for some football, 62 for the overnight low. Sunshine on Saturday, 910 degrees. Wow. Going to be really hot, really, really hot on Saturday. I would make sure your air conditioning works. Tucker, I'd like to talk to you right after the show. A little cooler on Sunday, a little breezy as well. We're going to go from 910 degrees on Saturday to 84 on Sunday for Labor Day. Sunshine, 79, not bad at all. We're going to be hovering right around the normal temperature, which is about 81, 82, right into the early part of September. So outside of that blistering hot 910 degree high on Saturday, things are looking good. That is your weather, your forecast anyway. I'm getting worried about tomorrow. After a quick break, we'll have your headlines. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley Friday edition on the NCW Life channel.
At Confluence Health, our mission is clear: to provide exceptional care for our community. We believe in healthcare that's personal and local because we're just like you, members of this great community.
We are Confluence.
Local care by and for our community.
Local care by and for our community.
Local care by and for our community.
We are Confluence.
We're turning up the heat with the hottest deals of the year. Right now, during the hot summer clearance sale, only at Click It RV. #1 in sales and service. The best RV brands. Over 1,000 to choose from. And the best deals of the year on remaining 2023 model year-end clearance with incredible 30% off. Brand new RVs discounted up to 30%. Save thousands. Plus, no payments until 2024. During the hot summer clearance sale, now only at Click It RV. 5 Superstore locations. Hurry in today.
Crystal's Intimate Lounge in downtown Leavenworth is a wonderful place to enjoy mouth-watering appetizers and drinks while socializing, watching sports, playing bingo, pull tabs, or simply relaxing while enjoying the breathtaking mountain views. Crystal's family-friendly restaurant has a warm environment to enhance your dining experience, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. Crystal's restaurant, lounge, and event space is located 2 blocks west of downtown Leavenworth on Highway 2.
Quite a bit of cloud cover, 61 degrees as the day rolls forward. The clouds will be rolling on out of here. We'll have sunshine this afternoon. We'll see highs right around 80 or so, maybe a little bit warmer than that. And if you're just joining us, a forecast high tomorrow of 910. It's 8 minutes after the hour. A long pending Douglas County murder trial is still on hold this week. The suspect's lawyer says he's taken his case all the way to the United States Supreme Court. Uli Tulilo has been in jail for the last 5 years. He was arrested in 2018 in the death of his wife Peggy in their Rock Island trailer home that they shared. Defense attorney Richard Gilliland argued Douglas County Sheriff's deputies illegally entered the trailer to gather evidence in the case, but back in June, the Washington State Supreme Court ruled that that search was in fact lawful. Tulilo's case came back to Douglas County Court, but yesterday, Gilliland said he's going to ask the nation's highest judicial panel to review the constitutionality of that case. Judge Brian Huber will hold a status hearing later this month to see where exactly that appeal stands. One of the 2 men charged in the fatal drive-by shooting last month in South Wenatchee has pled guilty. He faces a possible sentence of 40 years in prison. Andrew Francis Morrow did not admit to killing David Lomlai Vasquez in April of 2022, but he entered a plea Wednesday to vehicular homicide, drive-by shooting, and fleeing from police. Vasquez died 1 day later after the shooting from a head wound. Morrow and another man, Benito Lucia, fled from police after the Met House Street shooting. They were captured in East Wenatchee. Morrow is due to be sentenced on September 13th. Lucia still faces trial in Vasquez's death, along with additional charges of assault and attempted murder against a corrections officer while he was being held in the Chelan County Jail. The youth suspect accused of killing 15-year-old Tony Figueroa last month has pled not guilty in that fatal shooting. Jairo Israel Enciso of Toppenish was arraigned Wednesday in Chelan County Superior Court in the August 12th shooting at a quinceañera party in the 600 block of South Mission Street. Figueroa was shot and killed allegedly as part of a gang rivalry. Police arrested Enciso in Yakima County 4 days later. He's charged with second-degree murder and unlawful firearm possession. A judge set the defendant's trial date for October. Paving scheduled for this week on the Chumstick Highway between Leavenworth and Plain was postponed on Wednesday. Apparently an issue arose with the facility that produces the asphalt for the paving project. Right now, the road surface between milepost 5 and milepost 7 is ground up in preparation for the actual asphalting. Chelan County says this contractor will have the road section graded and smoothed for this weekend, at which point on Tuesday, they're planning on actually laying down the asphalt. The full road project is still scheduled to be completed around mid-September at an estimated cost of about $1.5 million. A contractor hired out by the Grant County PUD, the contractor is known as Alamon. They're going to be beginning damage inspections on wood power poles next month, this month, beginning on Tuesday, September 12th. Inspections in George, Soap Lake, and Moses Lake will run through September. The inspections require the contractor to access PUD poles from Grant County, some of which may be on private property, and they have to dig around the poles to look for wood rot. The inspections will allow the PUD to identify weak poles and get them changed out before they fall down. Doing so will reduce power outage, obviously, and ensure a safer and more reliable service. And the Three High Arcs Orthodox Christian Church is welcoming everybody who loves Mediterranean cuisine to its Kebab Fest. It's next Saturday, September 9th. Music and bouncy castles will provide an outlet for family fun, along with a wide variety of food and local beer. Menu items include gyros and kebab sandwiches, baklava, that sounds pretty good, feta fries with tzatziki sauce, and more. Both cash and cards will be accepted. You can purchase tokens, and then you exchange the tokens for your food or your beverage. The festival takes place from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the church on Northwestern here in the big city. And that's the news at 12 minutes after the hour. One more newscast before everybody gets a 3-day weekend with Grant in the anchor chair. I'll be handling sports. That'll be fun. We'll have the news for you on television at 5, 6, and 10. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock on TV. And if you can't watch it on TV or choose not to, you can always watch it via the World Wide Web on our homepage, ncwlife.com, on our Facebook page, and on our YouTube page. And if you have a news tip, something out there that you think demands our attention, you got to tell us about it so we know about it. Best way to go about doing it, log on to our homepage, ncwlife.com, and click on the Contact Us icon, or you can email us too, news@ncwlife.com. Pretty quiet in the world of sports yesterday, but going to be a busy weekend. We'll talk all about it when we come back with sports. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Thanks to Les Schwab Tires, I'm a confident backseat driver, but Mom's a little stressed about spending. Remember, deep breaths and watch your speed. Even though we're watching our wallets, Les Schwab is still watching out for our safety. So it's right here.
Hurry in and save up to $200 on a set of 4 tires, plus get an extra $50 off with financing. Les Schwab Tires.
Dear Mary Maids, just got home from a trade show and I didn't have time to pick up the house. Kids made chili. Jeff did a mud run. Oh, and Winston shredded Teddy's bed. Again, please clean it the best you can. Oh, except for the statue Max made for me. Thanks, Abby.
Hi, Abby. Clean kitchen, clean bath, clean floor, naughty cat. Poor Teddy. The statue is precious. You should keep it forever. See you next time, Mary Maids.
Did you know that nearly 50% of pet poisoning cases involve human medications and prescription drugs? Sometimes the culprit's a curious dog, but cats get into their share of trouble as well. Other times, pet owners mistakenly give their pets their own medications that are safe to people but toxic to their pets. Dr. Shauna Baez and her staff care about your pets. Go to pawsandclawsvh.com for a complete list of medications to avoid or call 888-PAWS.
Quarter after the hour, thanks to an assist from the Mets, the Mariners and the Astros are tied for first place in the American League West. But beginning today, it's the Mets who are going to try and spoil the Mariners' chances of getting a title instead of helping the Mariners out. The Mariners will look to remain red hot tonight. They visit the Mets. It's the opener of a 3-game series in Queens. It's interleague play, of course. Seattle and Houston are on top of their division. The Rangers are a game back. The Rangers losing to the Mets on Wednesday. The Mariners haven't officially announced a starter. It will probably be Logan Gilbert throwing on 5 days rest. We know that Kodai Senga is slated to start for the Mets. The only way, by the way, to watch tonight's game is on Apple Plus TV, which stinks because I don't have that. The Mariners have now gone 13-2 since August 14th. That is the best record in the majors. Their last, and of course, 21 wins in the month of August is a franchise record in the 48-year history of the Mariners. They had never won 21 games in a month. They have won 20 games in a month a bunch of times, but never 21. Mariners and Mets tonight in Queens. As far as the standings are concerned, none of the teams in the American League West actually played yesterday. In fact, there were only 4 games in all of Major League Baseball, so the standings remain the same. The Mariners and the Astros essentially tied. The Rangers half game back. The Rangers will be hosting the Twins tonight. The Astros welcome the Yankees for a weekend series, and the Angels are at Oakland with good seats still available. As far as the wild card is concerned, heading into the last month of the season, Tampa Bay, Houston, and Texas still have the top 3 wild card slots, with the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, and the Yankees trailing. The Yankees lost 4-3 to the Tigers last night, by the way, in extra innings, so they dropped 10.5 games back of the 3rd and final spot. College football, one quick score to pass along to you. Weber State pulled away, scored 3 touchdowns in the 3rd quarter. They pulled away to beat Central last night. The final was 35-10. As far as the rest of the college football schedule, it's underway. They had week 0 last week. We don't know why they call that. Washington Huskies get their campaign going. 12:30 kickoff at Husky Stadium. They'll be taking on the Boise State Broncos. That game will be broadcast on ABC TV. Eastern Washington University is at North Dakota State, and it'll be on ESPN Plus, and Washington State at Colorado State, 4 o'clock in the afternoon on the CBS Sports Network, which stinks because I don't have that. Prep football schedule tonight. Kashmir is at Newport. That's a long bus ride, so they're going to start earlier, 6 p.m., so they can get back at a decent hour. Brewster's at Chelan. That's a 7 o'clock kickoff. All the rest are at 7 o'clock. Quincy will host East Valley. Omak will be at Tenaska at Moses Lake. And Ephrata will do battle. The battle of, Highway 19? Is that what it is? 7 o'clock tonight at Lions Field. Eastmont's on the road at Meade at 7 o'clock. And Skyline is at Wenatchee, again at 7 o'clock. And the only way you can watch that game is on Apple Plus TV. Oh, no, wait a minute. No, it's going to be on the NCAA Live channel. Forgot about that. And the rest of the games this weekend. Oh, another score to pass along before I forget. Cascade hosted Nat Cheese last night in Peshastin. Nat Cheese 41, Cascade 7. That one hurts. The rest of the games, Anietta is going to be at Welpanit at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Wilbur Creston at Keller. Wilbur Creston and Keller, all 3 of them, will be at Soap Lake at 7 o'clock tonight. Afternoon tilt up on Waterville on the plateau. Waterville Mansfield will host Odessa. And of course, whenever Bridgeport and Moses Lake Christian get together on the gridiron, you can throw the records right out the window. And those are just some of the games. And people are playing at 18 minutes after the hour. Today's Obscure Holiday is about refractory rhymes. Refractory rhymes. If you're a poet, these are the words you want to avoid at all costs, because these are the words in the English language that don't rhyme with any other word. So it's called No Rhyme, No Reason Day. Today, among those words, orange, silver, spirit, chimney, doesn't rhyme with any other word, purple, angst, and month. Those words do not rhyme with any other word. So if you're a poet, avoid at all costs the words angst, purple, chimney, spirit, silver, month, and orange, because you're not going to find a word that rhymes with them unless you mispronounce them. It's National No Rhyme, Nor Reason Day today, and I did that because I had no rhyme and no reason. It's 19 minutes after the hour. Today in history. Well, they just annexed parts of Czechoslovakia and annexed parts of Austria, and nobody has said anything. So Adolf Hitler said, fine, I'll just take Poland. And World War II got underway. September 1st, 1939, Nazis invade Poland from the west. We can't forget that the Soviet Union took advantage of this and invaded Poland from the east. And World War II is underway. Here's a newsreel footage, I guess, from September 1st, 1932.
On September the 1st, 1939, the Nazi army smashed into Poland.
Poland had a cavalry, guys on horsebacks against tanks are not going to win that, and it didn't take very long for all of Poland to fall. It was just a matter of weeks, and of course, Great Britain declared war on Nazi Germany, and France declared war on Nazi Germany, and there we go. World War II begins September 1st, 1939. September 1st, 1952, 71 years ago today, the first book my dad ever made me read, and then I had to give a book report on it. It wasn't even a school assignment. Ernest Hemingway's classic, which would eventually win the Pulitzer Prize for the best fiction book of the year, was finally released. The Old Man and the Sea, still a good book. Movie isn't bad. Spencer Tracy's okay. The book is considerably better, as most of these things are. Gone with the Wind's a good movie, but the book is better. Same deal with The Old Man and the Sea. The Old Man and the Sea was released September 1st, 1952. I think almost everybody has read that book at one time or another. I think I've read it 3 or 4 times. People forget there was a huge boom in the popularity of chess in this country in the early 1970s, and it was because of Bobby Fischer, who defeated, in a huge upset, Boris Spassky of the Soviet Union in the match of the century, is what they called it. An American had never won the World Chess Championship in Reykjavik, Iceland. The two of them did battle for a number of weeks, and Bobby Fischer beats Boris Spassky to make it the first time ever the world champion was an American. This was front page news all over the United States, all around the world, for that matter. Bobby Fischer Day was held in New York City, the ticker tape parade. He was offered about $30 million in endorsements. He turned them all down. The United States Chess Federation was in danger of disbanding before Bobby Fischer won, and instead, membership like doubled and tripled and peaked in 1974. It's called the Fischer boom, is what they called it, and chess was everywhere in the early 1970s, after this date in 1972, when Bobby Fischer wins the World Chess Championship. I remember that. Big thing. I remember this too. 40 years ago today, September 1st, 1983, Korean Airlines Flight 007 shot down by a Soviet jet fighter. It went into Soviet airspace. Nobody disputes that. Everybody on board died, all 269, including a United States congressman from Georgia by the name of Lawrence McDonald. Here is a contemporary news report from 40 years ago today.
Anxiety had started to mount when the flight from New York to Seoul, with a stop in Anchorage, wasn't heard from for several hours. First reports said the plane had been forced down on the Soviet-controlled Sakhalin Island, which is off northern Japan. Then came the unavoidable savage truth. When the big jet had disappeared from Japanese flight control radar, it had disappeared from the sky itself, obliterated with up to 269 people aboard by a heat-seeking missile fired by a Soviet Su-15 interceptor. Among those presumed dead, United States Senator Larry McDonald and at least 30, possibly 40 other Americans and an Australian family of 4. In Washington, Secretary of State Schultz said this was no accident. He described how the Soviet hunters tracked their prey.
Aircraft for 2.5 hours, at least 8 fighters at one time or another were around in the vicinity, and the aircraft that shot the plane down was close enough for visual inspection of the aircraft.
Since the Soviets shot down the airline, they had a pretty good idea of where it was, and they would eventually find the wreckage in the sea 2 weeks after this happened. They also found the black box and the cockpit voice recorder. They found that about a week after they found the wreckage. Nobody knew about that because the Soviets didn't tell anybody until after the Soviet Union disbanded. It wasn't until 1992 when they admitted that, yeah, we shot it down and we found the wreckage and we found the black boxes. That was 40 years ago today. And 38 years ago today, a joint American-French group of guys, after looking and looking and looking and coming really close a couple of times without knowing they were that close, finally found the wreckage of the most famous shipwreck of them all, the Titanic. They found it on this date in 1985, the needle in the haystack, and here is Peter Jennings.
From ABC, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. There is no more famous shipwreck in the world, and the discovery of the Titanic in the Atlantic off the coast of Canada has been the dream of countless deep-sea explorers. Well, thanks to an American-French team, it is no longer a dream. In a moment, we'll talk to a member of the task force which found the Titanic. This afternoon, I talked by ship-to-shore radio with the chief scientist on the Titanic expedition, Dr. Robert Ballard. Have you actually seen the hull of the Titanic standing upright as it's been reported? Over?
That's correct. It's sitting upright on the bottom.
What kind of condition does the Titanic look in? Over?
Appears to be in superb condition. One would expect that given the fact that we're working in extremely deep water. It's ice cold and in total darkness, so it's an environment of high preservation. Over.
Do you have any plans to try raising the Titanic? Over.
Oh, I think that would be ridiculous. No, absolutely not. In fact, I would like to go and try to ensure that desecration of this memorial to 1,500 souls is left the way it is. Over.
They found the Titanic on this date in 1985. They've been looking for it since 1912, but they found it on this date. And finally, let's do some birthdays. One of my favorite comedians, Lily Tomlin. She's still funny. She's good in almost anything she does. Of course, burst on the scene with Laugh-In in the late 60s, and then she's been working pretty much nonstop since then. Lily Tomlin, the great actress and comedian, is 84 years old today, and one of the most successful songwriters of popular music anywhere. Barry Gibb, the last surviving member of the Bee Gees, is 77 years old today. As a songwriter, he shares a unique record with John Lennon and Paul McCartney for consecutive #1 hits in the Billboard Hot 100. He wrote 6 in a row, as did John and Paul. He has written or co-written 16 #1 hits in the Billboard Hot 100. The Guinness Book of World Records considers him the second most successful songwriter ever, behind Paul McCartney. Barry Gibb is 77 years old today. Just about the bottom of the hour, we have an opinion from Mike Mad Dog McNaughty coming up, so buckle your seatbelts for that. And then a couple of long-form interviews we're going to air for you. Scott Devereaux is the head football coach of the Wenatchee Panthers. Their season gets underway tonight. We did Michael Don from Eastmont High School yesterday. Oh, Alicia, I forgot her birthday yesterday. I dang near forgot it again today. There's Alicia. She's our director of First Impressions. We took that photo last week. Happy birthday, Alicia. Belatedly, it was yesterday. I forgot to do it yesterday, and I damn near forgot to do it again today. Thank you, Tucker, for bailing me out. I now forgive you for putting tomorrow's afternoon high of 910 degrees. Still to come, Scott Devereaux, head football coach of the Wenatchee Panthers. Oh, he fixed it. Thank you, Tucker. Thank you, Tucker. You know, it was not that way the whole time. Still to come is Scott Devereaux, the Wenatchee High School head football coach, heading into his 20th season. He had a chance to visit with our very own Eric Granstrom as they get going tonight. And Doug Jones, the executive director of Rivercom. You can now text Rivercom in an emergency. You don't have to necessarily call them. Jefferson Robbins sat down with Doug. We'll have that interview as well. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCWF channel.
Well, looks like our surgery patient is feeling better today.
Yep, I didn't need any oxy today. I thought I'd do a little surgery on the drain.
Huh. Do you need your pain pills anymore?
No.
Well, we should get them out of the house. There are places to drop them off.
Yeah, okay. Actually, I can do that right now.
And I will look at the drain.
Prevent opioid misuse. Find safe medication return options near you at med-project.org.
The agents of Kennedy Real Estate Group are committed to providing the ideal client experience. We believe in the power of relationships. Why? Because we don't just work here, we live here. From the nonprofits we serve, the parks where we play, and the local businesses we support, our team understands the value of living in the Wenatchee Valley. Let's begin your real estate story.
Hi, everybody. Dan Kuntz alongside Jesse Coble from Alpine Air. There's ice on my heat pump and under my heat pump.
Well, ice under your heat pump is normal. When we go into a defrost cycle, it melts the frost off, creates water, which freezes to the ground. Ice around your heat pump is a thing that you should probably give us a call about.
Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air for heat and air. Call Alpine Air. Thanks, Jesse.
Thanks.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. No wonder women are angry, and no wonder they're speaking out. For far too long, we've ignored the fact that women have been abused and harassed at the hands of some men. And yes, maybe it's not you, but it's somebody. Official stats used to be that 1 in 4 women would be sexually assaulted to some degree by the time she graduated high school. But in reality, this statistic is far too conservative. But even accepting that it's 25% of women who suffer this abuse, isn't that conservative figure a justifiable explanation for why women are speaking out and demanding change? Of course it is. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Boating in the Wenatchee Valley starts at Bob File Boats and Motors. Now you can fish like a pro without breaking the bank thanks to the ProMag aluminum fishing boat by Smokercraft. It features a great layout with a spacious bow casting platform, huge live wells, and in-floor storage to safely stow your gear. See the Smokercraft line of boats at Bob File Boats and Motors on Sunset Highway in East Wenatchee or online at bobfile.com.
Bob File Boats and Motors, we're dealing. Bob File's gonna make you smile. Come on out to Chelan County Fair. I'm doing my best and I know I'm all over the road. All your friends and neighbors will be there. There'll be cows, there'll be chickens, guitar picking, there'll be plenty of food to be shared. Come on out to Chelan County Fair. Come on out, yo, come on out to Chelan County Fair.
My name is Anna Marie. I've lived at Prestige here for 6.5 years, and I love it. They just made you feel so welcome. I love my room. I get 3 meals a day, do as I darn well want to. I've loved it ever since I moved in.
Mom's a wonderful, wonderful lady. She deserved the very best, and I got it for her here at Prestige.
Well, it's the NCW Life Channel's preview of the upcoming high school football season. Now visiting with Scott Devereaux, the head coach for the Wenatchee Panthers in 20, how many years now, Coach?
Since 96.
Okay.
Whatever that adds
All right,
up to.
we need the math people to do that for us. Talk about the offseason. After a campaign where you guys, 3 wins last year? It always starts with what happens after the season's over in the summer. How did it go?
We stayed healthy.
That's important because that's been a challenge here in the last few years.
Yeah, we had a good summer camp this year. Happy about how that went. A lot of our guys worked hard and some didn't. So that's kind of how our summer went.
So you lost some seniors on the line, especially.
Yeah.
Evan Burdans you don't replace every day. So that being said, who are you replacing them with, and how's that coming?
We have one returner on the offensive line, Calvin Bishop, and he's kind of leading that group. And it's been a lot of moving parts so far through camp here. We're pretty close on who our top 5 are, It's just getting them in the right spots right now.
Sure. You've got, is Jake still quarterbacking? Is
Yep.
he leading the team? So that's your son. But you're out here and you're just coach. You're not dad.
Right.
Talk about that progression and for him in his offseason and what he's worked on to become a better quarterback and a better leader.
He's put as much time in it as anybody I've ever coached this past year.
Now, is that something that you go to him as a coach and say, or is that something you go to him as a dad and say, or is it all on him?
He has some pretty lofty goals, and he set it up himself.
Okay.
He many times would tell me, "Hey, Dad, it's time to go throw," and I'm out in the backyard trying to look like a wide receiver again. Doesn't go so well. He set up all the 7-on-7s in the off season with guys to throw to. He contacted some quarterback guru guys and drove and did workouts with those guys on his own, and he's put in a lot of days and a lot of hours.
So you got the offensive line you're still working out in front of him. What about your skill guys to be able to get the ball away from Jake and be able to move the ball down the field?
I really like our skill guys, a lot of experience. We have a couple senior running backs. We have a couple senior wide receivers. We have a couple senior tight ends. We have some juniors that can run. Probably the strength of our team right now is our skill guys.
When you have guys from last year, Evan Burdan and Rivers Cook, they set a pretty good tone. Does that carry after they're gone?
Yeah, I think so. I think people see how those guys went to work every day. You know, Evan Burdan was a guy that when he spoke, everybody listened, even me. I was afraid he might put me in a single leg and hurt me.
Yeah.
You know, so everybody listens to Evan, and everybody knows how hard those two worked, and especially the guys in those groups, right? The defensive line, the offensive line. They saw some pretty high-end mentors with those two guys.
Well, let's talk about this first game for you. Skyline coming here. You got the home field advantage. Talk about that first match. That's a tough opponent for you.
Yeah, I can't wait. You know, we played them really tough last year. And they brought Coach Steve Jervis back out of retirement, guy I've known a long time, and excited to see what he's going to bring to them. I mean, he's probably one of the greatest coaches in Washington State history. We expect them to be fired up to win the first game of the year for Coach Jerv, and we're fired up to have him come here.
Talk about this home schedule to start. You got 4 of your 5 games here in the Apple Bowl. That's, I mean, nice to have that to start this season anyway.
Yeah, considering we had 2 home games the whole season last year.
Yeah.
It's nice to have some here this year. It's, you know, it's nothing like playing at home. It's great. We don't have to spend 5 or 6 hours to Mount Baker or to Vancouver this year, and hopefully we don't have to go play in Quincy or Moses Lake unless it's on our schedule.
Yeah, let's hope this smoke stays away from us, but that seems to be our 5th season these days. Mount Baker week 2 again this year. I know that for anybody that's left over from last year's squad, got a little payback probably you want this year.
Yeah, they you know, they took it to Royal City for about half that game in the state championship. Yeah. They were loaded last year. They came to our summer camp again, so I think we scrimmaged them at least 3 times, maybe 4. So we know each other pretty well. Mm-hmm. You know, they have that wing tee attack that if you're not ready to play, you can get hurt. But they lost a ton of seniors, really good seniors, college-level kids,
Mm-hmm.
and so, you know, we'll have a little more ready to prepare for them this year than probably last year.
Talk about this group of seniors and their decision in the offseason. What kind of goals did they set for this year?
They want to leave a legacy. You know, they want to leave something different. And they've been great kids to coach. You know, a lot of these guys I've known a long time for obvious reasons. Some I coached when they were little guys, and they're just really good kids. You know, they're smart, hardworking. There's not very many of them. When they were freshmen, there's about 20 that turned out during the COVID season. Mm-hmm. So I think we have 12 that have been playing together. We have a couple new kids this year, but love these guys a lot.
So part of that legacy would be, I'm sure you never look ahead, but there's week 3. There's that team across the river, and they've been thumping on you guys for a while now. I'll bet that legacy, these seniors especially, would like to change.
Absolutely would. You know, absolutely. A lot of them were around, you know, when the shoe was on the other foot, and they've seen those games, and they would like to get back to that. But for now, we got to take it 1 week at a time. Mm-hmm. You know, the most important game is the next game. Right. So the most important thing right now on our focus is Skyline.
I will have you look at the Big 9 and tell me from your perspective, looking at who's got people coming back and things like that. It seems that Moses Lake, Sunnyside, is that the teams you're looking at as far as, okay, here are the teams that we got to focus on to win a Big 9 title?
Yeah, I would say Eastmont's probably the favorite.
Mm-hmm.
They have about 30 seniors this year, and some key positions. Moses Lake has kind of I don't think people realize how good they probably could be this year. They have a young quarterback who finished up the season with them as a freshman. Coach's kid, grew up in his system, and they have great turnout. You know, they have 150 kids that turn out every year. I could see them shaking things up. Those are probably my two favorites if I had to pick. But I think this year there's probably 4 teams that could win our league.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a tough question because I know that Eastmont's got speed. Moses Lake has speed. Who's the fastest guy on your squad?
Well, if I go by track times, our fastest kid is probably Tristan Witherington. We have Anthony Garcia, who played soccer. He's really fast. I don't know what his, like 40 time is.
You haven't been out here with a stopwatch, Coach?
Nah. There's kind of that game speed, football speed,
right,
and
right. There's a difference.
There's track speed. My 40 time in high school was pretty bad, and in college wasn't great, but I could outrun guys on the field.
Right.
I don't know why, I just could. My long legs went faster on Friday, Saturday. So that's probably our fastest track speed kid we have.
Okay, all right. I got to ask you this question. We talked about this last year and about how long you've been around this program and such. Your son is a senior. You wanted to coach him through his school. Is this it for you, or is this just another season, let's play ball and let's worry about that later?
Number 2.
Okay.
Yeah, my focus is entirely on these kids right here, right now. Season gets over, I always evaluate where I'm at, how I feel, what my gut tells me. Talk to a couple of my buddies and find out, but I make that decision after the season. I don't even think about it right now.
Okay. Now we've got Brandon Harley that's going to join us in the booth for calling. Being an analyst.
Never heard of him
for some of these games. So what's a scoop on Harley that we need to know about?
Oh, I got a lot of stuff on him. The problem is he has 3 times as much on me.
Oh well, see, then we're hoping maybe he divulges some of that during the broadcast.
No. Here, a lot of people don't understand with Brandon. The guy's extremely smart. I mean, extremely smart. He's one of those guys that can be on Jeopardy, and I can't spell Jeopardy. So
yeah, the E and the O throw me off all the time.
Yeah. And the IEY.
Yeah, right.
So offense, defense, special teams, he has a great understanding of the game of football. And you can throw any question you want. He's a big Husky fan, so you could... I don't know. Are you a Coug fan?
I am an Eastern Washington guy now. We both grew up on the west side.
Yes,
so I was a Husky guy, and then I came over here and kind of got infected by the Cougar thing.
Well, he probably will rub it in a little bit.
I'm sure. But then again, the bragging rights, who's got it nowadays with the demise of the Pac-12 and everything else?
Yeah, go ACC, I guess.
Exactly.
I don't know where the Cougs even have a home?
Not yet. Yeah. Not past this season.
Put them on the schedule.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe that's the first game in 2025 for the Wenatchee Panthers. It'll be the Washington State Cougars. Coach, have a great season. We're looking forward to having you on TV a bunch this year, and keep everybody healthy.
Thank you.
You bet.
Too.
Scott Devereaux joining us here on the pregame, and as we preview the season to come here on the NCW Life channel.
We're turning up the heat with the hottest deals of the year. Right now, during the hot summer clearance sale, only at Click It RV. #1 in sales and service. The best RV brands. Over 1,000 to choose from. And the best deals of the year on remaining 2023 model year-end clearance with incredible 30% off. Brand new RVs discounted up to 30%. Save thousands. Plus, no payments until 2024. During the hot summer clearance sale, now only at Click It RV. 5 Superstore locations. Hurry in today.
The Wenatchee Valley. Here, most of us really enjoy the great outdoors, and most of us try to make the most of our natural resources. Here at Apple Valley Honda, we know that for generations, we have harnessed nature to sustainably power the West, and we are proud to be part of that tradition as an environmentally green dealership award winner. Being a green dealership means Apple Valley Honda has reduced our overall environmental impact. We are so proud to live in this wonderful community.
Jefferson Robbins with NCW Life. Rivercom is the agency that dispatches emergency aid to your location whenever you need it around Chelan and Douglas County. They're making some improvements, including a new innovation called Text to 911. We decided to catch up with Doug Jones, Executive Director of Rivercom, to talk about that new feature. Doug, thanks for being here today.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me, and thanks for visiting us in our facility here.
Can you explain a little bit for our viewers about Text to 911, what it allows callers to do now that they couldn't do before?
Sure. Well, of course, you could always dial 911, and 911 will get you in communication with our wonderful telecommunicators who will direct you to, or direct services to you as needed. What changes today is if you're in a situation where you can't call 911, you're now able to use your text on your phone through your carrier to get a hold of us. So basically, the circumstances where you might want to do that is if, for example, if you're hiking. A lot of times you're in remote areas where you don't have really good service and where it might be difficult to connect with a voice line. Sometimes the texting will work. So that's one scenario where it might work.
As another aspect, could it also be useful for domestic violence survivors? Because oftentimes their communication with the outside world is limited by their abuser. Would the texting facility help with that?
Absolutely. Anytime you don't feel like you can safely make a call, a voice call, texting is not also an option. Great example. You're in a domestic situation. You don't want the abuser to know you're calling the police. You can make a text and do it rather covertly as opposed to a voice call, and that works well.
So if I text to 911 in Rivercom's service area, I'll be connected with a dispatcher. They're also responding to me by text. I can make requests or report a situation just by using the keyboard on my phone?
Exactly, and if you're in an emergency situation, they'll stay in contact with you via text until law enforcement or fire gets there, if that's what works. But yeah, definitely, they'll be with you throughout your encounter with them. So.
What kind of steps did Rivercom have to take to make text to 911 a reality? It's been coming in phases in other parts of the state. So what kind of coordination did you have to do to make it work here?
There's two primary coordinations. Number one was at the state level. When you call or when you text, your communication doesn't go directly here. It goes to a state network or a state cloud. We call it the ESI network. And then it's directed from there. So we had to align the state requirements with our individual phone carrier or phone company that deals with all of our 911 and our business line phone issues. So we had to align those two, and also you have GIS that comes into play. We have a very extensive and complex GIS system, so that when that call comes in, or that text in this circumstance, it's directed to the right location, which is here, and then it also plots. So it goes, all the information that comes from your phone is directed to us, and it also, in addition to allowing you to communicate with the telecommunicator or the dispatcher, we actually see where you're at as well.
So the location information is vital for people to be able to respond to your scene.
Exactly.
Wherever you're texting from.
Exactly. We will always ask where you are, your address or things like that, just to verify things like that. But if for whatever reason you aren't able to do that, we can get law enforcement or fire or EMS pretty close to your location based on that plotting.
Now, in the last year, at least 2 times I've managed to accidentally call 911 from my cell phone when it was in a back pocket or something like that. Right. Are there any risks associated with text to 911 where you just get a misdirected text and your people are tied up for a little while trying to figure out if this is a legitimate message or something else?
That's certainly a potential. We always look at, we always ask people to stay on the line if they accidentally make a 911 call, and the same with the text. If you accidentally make a text, make sure you respond if you get a text back from us saying, oh, that was a mistake. Not going to get in trouble. It happens to all of us. It happens to me. And so, the faster that we can remedy that and know that it's not an actual emergency, the faster we can get back to answering the real 911 calls. So, you don't get in trouble. You just stay on the line with us. Let us know it was a mistake, and we'll get through that.
Are there any special steps that someone texting to 911 has to take to make that connection, or do we just go 911? Text and go?
Exactly. Put 911 in the field where you typically put a contact or a phone number, and then it goes. And it really, again, it's pretty much statewide now. So wherever you are statewide, if you do that, as long as you have cell phone coverage, it will be directed to the dispatch center or that services your location. So.
To your knowledge, Doug, has since this came online, I'm assuming it happened around midnight last night, have you received much in the way of 911 texts here at Rivercom?
We actually had it live a week ago when we were testing it, and we actually did have a text come in from a hiker who was in a remote areas like we talked about, and we were able to get help to that hiker. So it has worked already, even before we went live with it. When we had it on, basically we had it turned on for our testing and for our training for our telecommunicators. So that was a good live test, I guess you would just say that it worked, and it gave location and everything it was supposed to.
I guess that hiker was lucky about the circumstances. They might have gotten no answer at all otherwise.
Right, very fortunate.
Right. Doug, Rivercom is growing in other ways too, Doug. There's a growing pain experience you're having right now. Your board has been searching actively for a new place to locate your headquarters. I think you've kind of outgrown your space. Have you outgrown this building in terms of personnel or in terms of equipment that you need, or is it both?
Well, actually both. There are some power requirements that this building is deficient on, so we need more power to run our new technology, things like that, so we're limited on that. But definitely personnel-wise, we've grown as an organization, as the community's grown. We've added telecommunicators to our staff. With additional telecommunicators requires additional staff to support that. So you'll see if you walk around, a couple of our offices are doubled up, tripled up, things like that. And so we definitely need more space for the personnel to grow. And as you know, our population is growing, so our mission will continue to grow. So we're really looking for a long-term 20 to 30-year facility that we can grow into and meet the needs of the community.
There was some optimism earlier this year about the Confluence Technology Center, whether you could occupy the space formerly occupied by Yahoo, I think. And what happened with that? The building just turned out not to be suitable for your use.
Exactly. We've worked really well with the port, and they've been super great to work with as far as trying to find a solution for us. And that was a very promising possibility. But one of the requirements for a communication center similar to police departments, fire departments, is that you meet these national building codes. And what the code is for this type of facility is what they call a risk category 4, which does require a little bit more hardening to make sure that during a fire or flood or earthquake, your facility is going to be able to sustain that, and so that you can continue your emergency services. And that makes sense. So we did an analysis of that building. We hired a company to go out and do a structural analysis of that building, and it was determined that it didn't meet that standard. So a little bit disappointing. We talked about what it would take to retrofit that. And when you talk about digging up foundations and things like that, it really was not feasible to do that.
So it sounds like at this point Rivercom needs to find a new site and build fresh.
Exactly. So we are looking for land, basically. What that did, after we got that analysis back, I went and sat down with city officials and said, what do you know about what's available, potentially existing structures that we would meet that requirement? And basically, you have buildings like this that are occupied, the fire department, things like that. There's really no existing structure that we can see that will meet our needs. So we do have to find land and build a structure, so build a facility. So we're pursuing those options.
And you mentioned that staff growth is one of the things that's driving this. For a while, Rivercom was having a hard time filling its numbers, getting people who could take those calls, work with the emergency agencies, but it sounds like your staffing level might have been improved since then.
It has. Over the last couple of years, even before my time, obviously, there's been a really push to hire quality the telecommunicators. It's a great job. It's a great mission. We sell that out there through our website and things like that, and we get good people that apply. So currently, we are at full staffing, but however, we still have a lot of people that are training in the pipeline to be, let on their own to take the radio and do the job. So, although we're at full staffing, there's still some overtime issues because we're still in the training process for many of those. So,
if you find a new place to house your agency and you find more needs for people, do you see another hiring binge for Rivercom in the future?
Yeah, I think again we're at 29 right now. We're authorized a few more, so I think definitely coming into the next year we're going to be doing some hiring, and we are advertising on our website for that, and we're going to job fairs, things like that. So yeah, there's definitely opportunity for telecommunicators to apply and to join our great team.
One of the things, and you know from working in emergency services for quite some time, is that sometimes there's just places in these counties where radio signals don't get to very easily. Sure. And Rivercom has had to deal with what have been called dead zones sometimes. What kind of steps have been made recently to try and up that coverage so that officers or responders out there, say in the Coulee country, can have a guarantee they'll get a signal?
Yeah, that's a good question, because when people think of Rivercom, they think of the telecommunicators, which do a great job, and they're a wonderful team of professionals. But we also have another big section of Rivercom is that we own 23 radio communication sites throughout Chelan and Douglas County to make sure that those radio signals get to the first responders in even those remote areas. So we have on mountaintops throughout the two-county region these radio sites that make sure that we can get the best radio coverage possible. Can we hit everywhere? No, because but there are some dead spots. But we are continually building out our network, trying to improve through technologies to expand that. I think one of the current projects we have going on will if we get it done this year, snow might affect that. But if we can get it done early next year, we'll reach up into Stehekin. So that's one of those areas where we really see a need for getting some good radio traffic up there to support our first responders and our law enforcement to go up into that area.
So Doug, you've been with emergency services for quite some time. You retired out of the Wenatchee Police Department as a captain. Mm-hmm. You moved to Confluence Health, where you were a security manager there. Sure. How does this Rivercom job measure up to you so far? I mean, does it have its own particular kinds of rewards or challenges?
It was a really good fit for me, and I work with a lot of people that I've worked for years, both when I was in police work and when I was with Confluence Health doing emergency management there, dealing with a lot of the first responders in the community, running drills and things like that. So, coming here, it's a different hat, but the same friends I work with on a daily basis. So it was really nice to have this opportunity. And I'm just, since I've been here 2 months, I can't say enough about the team I work with and the telecommunicators here and the great job that they do for our community. They have a great heart, and that's when I first got here, I interviewed everybody on a one-on-one, and bar none, they're all in it for the right reason. They want to be here for you, to support you when you call 911 and get you the services that you need, because it's their community. So that's what was really encouraging to see.
Bienvenido al Centro de Resolución de Conflictos. Brindamos servicios a los condados de Grant y Adams, ayudando a empresas y personas a resolver problemas difíciles. Ofrecemos ayuda con conflictos de trabajo, problemas residenciales y asuntos familiares. Podemos capacitar a su personal en habilidades de prevención y resolución de conflictos. Llámenos al 509-237-3705 para obtener más información.
D.A. Davidson in Wenatchee provides financial services for independent-minded clients working to secure their futures. Whether it's helping construct your personal financial, retirement, or estate plan, they start with a disciplined approach and straightforward advice. An individualized approach is rooted in the values, stability, and strength their company was founded on in 1935. With offices coast to coast and personal attention you deserve right here in the Wenatchee Valley, learn more about D.A. Davidson.
The Surf and Slide Water Park is open from Memorial Day through Labor Day. Surf and Slide is located in the heart of Central Washington in Moses Lake with activities for all ages and abilities. Check out Surf and Slide's Flow Rider Surfing Simulator, Lazy River, 2 200-foot water slides, tube slides, and diving boards. Our children's area includes a Treasure Island water structure, splash pad, and baby octopus slide. For season passes, visit us online or find Surf and Slide on Facebook.
All right, getting ready to slide into a 3-day weekend. I hope you have a 3-day weekend. Wherever you go this weekend, be sure to take us along because we're portable. And everybody wants to know what the weather's going to be like. Well, here's what the weather's going to be like. We'll have some clouds this morning and some sunshine this afternoon. It's going to be a little breezy, especially to the north of us in the Okanagan Valley, the Waterville Plateau, and the Columbia Basin, but not too much here in the Wenatchee Valley. There's a weak upper low that's drifting into our area from Canada, and that's why we're going to have a little bit of wind, but not much. And again, the wind is going to make these clouds go away. So clouds this morning, gradual clearing this afternoon. We'll top off at about 84. This just in, Saturday's high has just changed from 910 to 91. with lots of sunshine. So you will be able to go outside on Saturday. Sunday, right? Oh, I keep switching back to Uriah, I miss you, buddy. 84 on Sunday with lots of sunshine. Monday for Labor Day proper, slightly cooler with a high of 79, and the rest of the week looks pretty good. Sunny and dry and pretty mild. I'm liking that. Don't forget, no show on Monday. We'll see you Tuesday. Till then, bye-bye.
Greetings, North Central Washington. Welcome to Network TV. On this episode, we will explore the incredible power of social media and the influence it wields in today's digital age. I'm Jenny Rojanasatian, Executive Director of NCW Tech Alliance, and I'll be your guide on this journey today. In a world where connections are made at the click of a button and trends spread like wildfire, one platform has taken center stage with its captivating short-form videos and viral sensations. That's none other than TikTok, the global craze that has revolutionized the way we create, consume, and engage with content.